Welcome to Spirit Baby Radio. I am your host, Kelly Meehan, a citizen of the universe and a passage keeper and mentor for our new Earth children. I believe we are entering into a new psychic structure of our reality, and it is meant to embody deeper trust and ways into solid self-love and fearless integrity. Our new world energy of spirit babies needs us to consciously create within conception, trust pregnancy, and have freedom to birth and parent from innate wisdom. This is Spirit Baby Radio. Welcome to episode 227, October 2025, Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month. Get answers to curious questions. What are these curious questions? I'm going to explore and expand deeper into multiple miscarriages, best way to support others after loss, sibling support after loss, and egg donation, explaining it to your child. And I do feel like there are different responses to these kind of questions, and I'm going to read the questions that came in, and I'm going to expand a little bit more deeper in that space so you can be curious in your heart, so you can see what new insights want to come through and how you feel about it. Because we are all these sovereign souls, right? Operating in the world of many energies, many energies, and not just our own energy and the people around us, but also through our lineage, through our community, through our society. There's a lot of energy. And I want to explore more of these different questions to, again, hear my perspective of it. And I've been in this field over a decade and just really sitting in the energy fields and soul bodies of not just babies, but of Earth humans here. And there's so much happening in who we are and who we're becoming and how we are just consciously expanding all the time and the different frequencies we get to meet. We get to be in low frequencies and high frequencies. And of course, I know all of our ultimate goal is to keep expanding into our best selves, really. And there's a lot of opinions on that, right? There's a lot of arguments we see in social media and a lot of speaking up because we do have information, we do have body intelligence, we do have mind intelligence. And we are in a time in 2025 of going deeper into it and without apologies, without insecurities, because you are who you are. So, again, all the podcasts for this month are all dedicated to the healing of loss in the heart space. And it's not just you. Let's say you've had your own individual loss, a multiple loss of your child. And this can leak out into all kinds of losses because I know with pregnancy loss, there are triggers, and maybe you lost a mother or a father or a sibling or a friend. It's all gets, we'll call it the grief soup, right? It all gets mixed in there and it's just super intense. It's super feeling, super grief, super mourning. And you may notice over this whole month, if you're tuning into the podcast, it's all around grief and death and loss. And I know that this month is dedicated towards that. And we know that loss is an everyday experience around the world. And I share this in my book, Notes from a Spirit Baby Medium, everything you want to know about spirit baby communication. And in that, I do talk about from miscarriage, stillbirths, it's common, right? And we don't want to hear that. Nobody wants their baby to die. And I know in the new age metaphysical spiritual realms, it can really comfort you to feel like your baby had a mission and that you signed some invisible contract, or it can make you feel better to just feel like it's just life, like energy comes and goes, and you don't have to get too attached to any specific philosophy. More than anything, you can be openly curious with your heart space. Sometimes we don't have the final needed answers we want so badly, don't we? We want to know, are our loved ones okay? Or is baby being okay? And yes, we can hear it from other people, but we really want to believe and feel that. And if you have gone through loss, whether it's single loss or multiple loss, it is your journey. It is your heart's journey together with this being. who is a part of you, who is connected to you. And maybe we can say that's the quest, that you're navigating the world in this new way with this new connection to your mind and how you see and perceive things. And I know that with immediate loss, whether, I feel like most loss is surprising. It's not planned. And I guess unless you know you have a genetic issue, that baby's not going to make it. But even that, it shares the same grief, heartache, and healing that is needed. And so wherever you are, sometimes that immediate traumatic loss, it's fucking terrible. And I'm not going to pretend to be all love and light around it. It is fucking terrible feeling. And you feel scared and you feel so much fear that you don't even know how to breathe and how to be in your body. And I want you to know that you're going to be okay, even though you feel like I'm not. It's okay if you tell your people around you, those that support and love you, like, I'm just not okay right now. And we have to sometimes be in the I'm not okay space for quite some time. And every day is a new day. We are reborn into whatever we want to become and be and create with, right? And having an environment that supports you is very, very powerful and very, very much needed. And I've worked with many in the bereavement space, in even group space, in individual space, in workshop space. And I do know when we come together in the bereavement loss space, we create synergistic energy together that electrifies the frequencies around us and actually does up level us. And yes, it is still your own heart's journey of healing, but togetherness is very, very powerful. And I've just witnessed it many times. So if you're someone that has pregnancy loss, conception loss, even, right? We can say IVF transfers, um, as well as, maybe you've lost an infant after life, kind of check in, not just with your own heart space, but really allow yourself to be held, loved, and cared for. I always say that when there's immediate loss and maybe the grief is coming up, and even later, like maybe it's been years and you feel that grief, really calm your energy down into a space of tenderness and compassion. So you're allowing yourself to be wherever you need to be. And guess what? In the somatic body being that you are, your heart and mind will love you for it. And remember, when our bodies are in tunement with us, we have to pay attention. We can't just live in our heads, right? The neck and up, which we can do. I feel like that's where fear really gets. It's like a live neck and up, but where's the rest of your body? How are you connecting to your heart? How are you connecting to the way you feel in your skin? Whether that's an external support of massage, acupuncture, even a shower or bath, or going out in nature, stretching, moving, asking yourself, where is your body? How do you feel? And I often see energetically, we do carry little pockets of grief in our energy field. And let's say you feel it in your sinuses, which is very typical, or the heart space if you're having lung stuff, or maybe you feel it in your digestion, your stomach, or your lower digestion, or womb space, uterus. Just listen. I want you just to listen. And in the listening and the calmness and presence of your beingness, energy moves, energy changes. So I open my arms with great love to your journey. And I want to tell you that, of course, your baby being your son, your daughter, they are in connection with you. You are in communication and you are forever held together in this lifetime, and things will make more sense when you are reunited, whether that's another earth reality time, right? If they come back into the space or beyond that, because you are eternal, you are never ending, and your child is never ending. And yes, you will always think and yearn for what would that life be like in each mile marker, right? In each moment, but you also know that the presence of their energy is with you and you're trusting it and you're connecting with love. So now I'm going to go into these conversations, these questions, curious questions. The first one was sharing from an experience of witnessing. So this is a really good place to look at. So what if you have a friend that's had a miscarriage and through an accident or through a way that felt like you couldn't control it. It's like they had a miscarriage and baby's gone, and how do you help that space? Like what would you do? And what a beautiful thing I feel like we should share because we have to support each other. This is the new world energy, by the way, is we've been doing this for a long time, but I feel like it is the new earth energy where we come together as communities and help each other. We help the sick, the mentally challenged, the disabled, or in moments of people shifting their energy. And the stronger ones come with their frequency and just hold each other, right? And then we move together. So how do you support? There's so many different ways. Let's say your friend has a miscarriage, your friend has a stillbirth, or loses their child after life suddenly, or maybe through an illness. It doesn't matter how they passed. What the biggest energy you need to sit with, if you're feeling this and you've had this experience, is don't run away from them. This is what you want to do. A lot of people do this, and I've heard so many stories where many felt like my family ran from me and it was the support that I needed the most. And so come back to doing your own work around death. And that's what it is. Come back to know your own grief space, your death space, and know that these people that you love, your family, your friends, they need you. And I find when we've experienced grief in a sudden, shocking way through any kind of loss, the person going through it, they're in grief, they're not thinking, their nervous system is dysregulated. They feel listless, emotional, they want to sleep, they don't want to eat. There's a reason for that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's more of you're the one who's not in that experience to come and go, you know what, I'm going to come clean your house, I'm going to come bring you a meal, I'm going to check up on you, I'm going to send you. Never actually ask, what do you need? Because most people aren't going to say what they need, especially in the beginning. The shock, the trauma is so present. So there is a really great, I've shared it before in my Motherhood to Mediumship Mighty Networks group, which is free if you want to join. I'll leave that in the show notes. There's a resource page in there, and I found it through Facebook, and it's about Liam, who was born still. And the family made a whole beautiful list on how do you support stillbirth loss? Like, what do you do? And there's some amazing things, like, again, about, questioning, like bringing food and talking to the child as though they're with us, not like the child is gone. And this is the fear of death people have. I don't want to talk about the baby. Yes, during miscarriage, during stillbirth, like talk about the children. Don't leave them out. Talk about the way, how are you, how is it feeling? And I know that's a very loaded question. Oftentimes when someone has loss, I say, well, how are you? And I says, but I know that's a loaded question. Like be really present with those that have experienced loss and just listen. Sometimes just listening is enough. You don't have to give advice. You don't have to heal them. Just your presence is healing. And just, maybe you do understand if you've had loss. You say, I understand you, but I don't understand you because this is your own experience. And I know your body needs nurturing love right now. Maybe you're like, or hopefully you're resting and just maybe, whatever else things help you feel a sense of just connection to where you are and just knowing that there's support there and remember to check in. So I feel like that's the best way you can be of support. And I know there's more ways of support. And I'm just thinking about the ways that I've been there to support others while they're in the middle of a miscarriage. I've done sessions where women or mothers are in the middle of a miscarriage, and it's a very unique energy because it's a birthing energy. And I sit in attunement with my own frequency of stabilizing our connections together to be a witness of love, to be of support. And of course, they're working with me, not just through psychological kind of emotional support, but also the energetic, looking at the connection of baby, the connection of the body, and what the healing presence needs to be in that time. So be there for for those that need it and be okay if you feel scared or unsure. That's pretty normal and common and just keep pushing yourself because we need each other and love is powerful. Another question here that came through. I had a miscarriage last year, and I'm sure that my spirit baby's around me. I feel like I see so many signs and feel baby's presence. My question is, can spirit babies communicate through things such as radios and toys, etc.? We have an electric baby swing for our rainbow baby that keeps turning itself on and on fast swing mode. We also have had radio stations change in my car multiple times without me touching it. So this is an amazing question. I actually feel like the energy of this woman who messaged me privately, I actually feel like her energy, you know who you are, is very empathic in your partner. So you're opening the field energy for that communication. And in that, you are right. Babies, see, this is something we don't talk about. Spirit babies can physically manipulate the energetic realities around us. This is why babies, I can see their energy very clearly. I feel it, sense it, see it, and it's not, sometimes it's more physical, but it's more internal. And I connect in that way. And it's a very true, real energetic force. And I've seen this in other experiences, in my own experience of losing a lot of family members, where they communicate physically through electronics, through different things that get your attention. And I do feel like when babies in that communication space, they want your attention and pay attention. That's the message. And again, physical reality energetically can be manipulated. So we often think, oh, I'm going to get communication in a dream, a nighttime dream, or I'm going to get communication when I'm in a daydream in meditation. No, it does not have to always be that way. So, yes, I've actually had baby beings in sessions throughout the years. Some will say, hey, you know that light? Actually, this is a true story. And I had a testimonial on it, like probably from over 10 years ago somewhere. It's probably not, I took all my testimonials off my website. I don't even think people really need them anymore, but I I found, yeah, so what I'm going to share with you in just one moment here. This baby being, this little boy was telling me that he messed with the lights outside of the house all the time. And the parents confirmed that. And they were so in deep levels of grief together. And there was a lot of other things shared that I could have no idea was like I had no idea until I shared it from their little baby being. And so this is a real thing. There will be physical things. One time I know with another little boy, he shared snails. Snails were going to be communication. And you think, well, maybe that's going to come in a dream or a vision. It actually was literal on his cemetery stone. There one day she went down to a stone and there were all these snails on his stone. And so these are just different examples. Toys, yes, radios is actually, of course, radios because radios have, I don't know if they make radios the way they used to, but back in the day they were made out of quartz crystal. And I've taken quartz crystals and put them in crystal singing bowls of quartz crystals and played them, and they sound like voices are coming through. So, crystalline energy, frequency, of course, radios are a great way of manipulation because a spirit baby energy can manipulate it quite easily. So, in that curious question, thank you for sharing that, both of those questions, and keep trusting it, that there is connection and communication in that way. Two more, curious thoughts and ideas. So let me see if I can explain this question because it's kind of like a question. Let's see. Okay. Oh, multiple losses. So this mother experienced like two losses and is very scared to keep trying, the fear of more losses. And this is a really hard one. And I know from your question, hopefully you'll tune into Spirit Baby Radio. Your energy is super sensitive too. You're very empathic and you feel a lot. And oftentimes when we feel a lot, it's intense. It's a whole other layer and level. And yet there is some energy with you that feels like it's opening bright light energies. And I'm not going to tell you to go and keep conceiving. I do feel like you need to be with your own heart space and see where the healing is, but there can be definitely more energy that's wanting to come through and help transform whatever that next space is to bring that, present earth live baby being into this world. And it's a very tricky one because the pain and the sadness is so different for each woman. And it really is reflective of your own birth, of who you became as a baby, the way your parents raised you, and the traumas that you're healing. And yes, miscarriage, loss, stillbirth loss is very traumatic, not just for, I can't even say for baby, but it's more for you. You feel the trauma of it, but it's trauma. And we all have different space and time for it. And again, as I said, it is tricky. It's very challenging because it's your own heart's journey and what that feels and how you can move through it and really be present to yourself and whatever else is being asked of you. I often feel like some people call, God, the universe. Like for me, I'm like, hello, universe. Like, are we in collaboration together? Like, what's happening? I want to listen to that brightest frequency within me and connect in ways to elevate myself, but I don't want to have to go through the suffering of it. And I do feel like we can push into certain energies to go, you know what? Like what is the expansiveness in this? And remember with birth loss, it's not just the mother's energy, it's the father's energy too. It's oftentimes a collaborative energy. So often we see, oh, it's mother's mother, but you're experiencing, right? Mother experienced it because it's in her womb. It's literally, I feel like there's life and death within inside the feminine. And I do have past podcasts about that. Like, how are you stepping into the altars of your own heart space after miscarriage as you literally have death and life inside you, creative force and rebirth? And there's something deep in there to go and explore. And I definitely would encourage those that have multiple loss. As I can share for, I have worked with women, as many know, miscarriage is my specialty. I've been doing for over 10 years. And what I've noticed is there's no rhyme or reason for specific journeys for people. So I've worked with women that have had, one, two, three, even four miscarriages and still have healthy present children after that. And I have seen maybe two different women who've gone over 10 miscarriages, who have some are still trying, some are like done. And there's a journey in that. And I know that can be really scary, like, oh my gosh, like, and this, what I'm thinking about is not just natural conception, but also intervention conception, actually two different stories. And my heart goes out to that journey because there's so much energy in that, right? And yet, women, mothers show up somehow, to be honest. They show up somehow to go, okay, what is this? And some would believe, and I do think it's true, if we don't let trauma take us down into and bury us and never come through and breathe the fresh of light and air, we can forge through as beautiful flowers and reach the light and really transform through trauma. We don't have to stay held by the trauma, was what I'm learning through nervous system work. Like we literally can go back into our own infancy space, our own child timeline with really appropriate guidance with someone that can really hold that frequency of expandedness for you to feel safe enough to go into those places. Because remember, we shut down unconsciously because we don't know how to get there or we're scared to get there or subconsciously the fear is so strong. And so getting support, I think, is like incredibly amazing. And to explore if you are in multiple losses, like take a break to like reset your heart and ask the universe, ask God, like, hey, I need something and I'm going to sit quietly until that comes through. And that's where you listen to your intuition. That's where you're opening to love. So maybe if you're saying, you know what, maybe you're tuning in and you're like, oh, this multiple loss, I can't. Every day, I want you to step into your heart space. Where is your heart space? What does it feel like to lay in your bed in the morning, one hand on heart, one hand on womb? I love myself. I love you. Can you say that to yourself, that you love yourself and sit in your heart space in the sunshine of nature, in your beautiful healing space room? Like, can you remind yourself, maybe it's through poetry or music or movement, where is love every day? That's your prescription. Is where is your love? Connect with that and really change your frequency of how you are receiving and perceiving that reality and see how you can expand into it. And of course, you can say hello to spirit baby being, your sons, your daughters, wherever you're at. So thank you for that question, and I hope that gives healing on many layers to those tuning in, and if that's you especially, or those that you're supporting. So let me see. Oh, two more. Maybe I have two more questions. Okay. I'm curious in the kinds of roles babies who are lost play in the lives of Earthside families. Yes. I've had two pregnancy losses, 12 years apart. I sense the second loss somehow was like protection from the same spirit. I wonder if and how they can help guide what the role plays with the siblings, both in spirit and earth side. Absolutely. Something I feel like I should do a whole episode on, like what is the sibling connections to earth side siblings energetically, and also light baby siblings we can call, like brothers and sisters that are no longer in earth body or didn't make it that far. There's always a connection with siblings. There's no accidental coincidences. We are aligned coming into this reality with special relationships with our siblings. And I am very fortunate. I get to see that with spirit babies, with light children, with earth children. And I can validate that through just different things that they all share with each other. And yet, there's also, remember, a level of mystery because individually, your journey and watching and being with siblings, watching this unfoldment come together and seeing their connection is just pure love. And it's pure synergy and connection. And I always felt like I see this even with my children, my boys. I'm like, they should have their own sibling energy. That's none of the business of the parents. Like they have something special. And I know this because I grew up with two brothers and we had some connection together that our parents aren't allowed to be a part of. And I think there's something powerful in that because it is very special. We do have a deep connection in the sibling energy, and we all take care of and love each other in that space in different ways and expand. And sometimes it is a hard journey. I had a very hard journey with my brothers. My older brother passed away young, so that was really hard. It was very hard, more hard for me than like my mom who passed away. And many know this. They were passed away 3.5 weeks apart. First my mom, and then my brother checked out. And it wasn't like, it was very interesting because there wasn't a lot of like, oh, like there's such a deep spiritual mission on that one because it seems so random, but it's so much more than that. My gosh, so much more. And there was so much more heartache for me to understand that healing journey together was really big deal. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And then now I have my earth brother who's we kind of live together now. So I get to like heal and know each other in a different way where we had a huge gap and we had just like a falling out for a while. There's just a lot of energy in biological families, many know, which like where are you playing into low frequencies and high frequencies? But now there's a coming together through divine forces that is bringing a different level of the healing of the lineage. And I really do feel like it's for my children because they're the next generation of the male energies that are a part of that, right? So siblings through lineage, there's definitely a connection there. And I feel like there's so much more to say about that, and I will expand into that in the future. And so just know, like, siblings have connection, and I've seen that with the children of light. They will say, "My sister, my brother's coming," and typically they do. They come later, in this lifetime and during, being birthed into this world. And other times, I really trust the children. They know they connect in such deep ways. Children do that. They don't have any barriers or rules around stuff, right? They like the way we do as we're older and we've gotten out of that theta, alpha, delta brain waves are so different. That's why meditation and calmness can take us in between worlds of energy with ease and offer insights and connection. And that's a whole other conversation. You'd have to join me in the Spirit Baby Collective membership, monthly membership to learn more and gain more skill in that specific space and your own Spirit Baby communication practices. The final question here, I just got asked how to tell your egg donor child about their conception. I have a good answer, but I want to hear your perspective. And really great question. And I know this is not connecting to loss, but there can be a lost energy in there in the sense of when I think of adoption, embryo adoption, egg adoption, sperm adoption. We don't say sperm adoption, but why not? I'm coining the term. I don't think anybody's ever said that. But those also have spaces of grief. And it may be more present grief, it may be more underlying. But how we're born, as you know, through birth psychology, APA, which is a great organization to be a part of, is to, how we come into this world is so friggin' powerful, more than people realize. This is why a lot of us birth advocate, why we want to go to that home birth, free birth energy, women, mothers coming back to trusting their bodies, because that early imprint says everything about who they become. And Yeah, there's a lot of babies being born through forced inductions were unnecessary, through cesarean births. These are all traumatic experiences for everybody, and it's collectively for society. And again, that's all, those are a whole other podcasts, which I will talk more about. And I probably have in over 227 episodes. There are perspectives with either even birth psychologists and myself just talking about that foundational space. So, egg donation. I feel like it depends on how old the child is too. You're not, I mean, you could, I mean, depends on how old the child is. Because if they're so young, and you have to meet them at different levels. So if you tell your child at 5 or 6 year old, you got to talk about it again at 7 and 8. You got to talk about it at 9 and 10 as it comes up. Because then when they're like 13, they're not going to really have full sense memory of the conversation. And you do want to time it so it's really age appropriate. And I do think in 2025, we're in an overculture of conversation. Like we give our children too much information, and I've witnessed it with friends, and even in the homeschool community, I'm like, oh boy, like we don't have to be so detailed and so like, even during the pandemic, like telling the children all the details of the fear. Like a 3 year old doesn't have to know what's happening in the pandemic. They really do not. They're playful, magical thinkers. You just keep them safe and you take all that shit and you metabolize it and transform that energy in your own space. You don't tell them and make them have anxiety and feelings that are unnatural and that are literally just the ego of the parents just preying and shadowing upon that child. Anyways, so egg donation, I would imagine I would just be very loving and centered in my own body, like, and if it needs to come up, that because if maybe they genetically want they'll be different or maybe they're physiologically like different slightly looking, even though that's a tricky one because anyone that's through adoption and connection they still look like their families. Because even when I tune into egg donation, the egg, yes, it's another genetic kind of purity that's different, maybe a changing of a lineage, but your body, it's in your body and your body's own blood and organs and synergy of your womb is morphing and connecting with that egg. So I would be very gentle about it and I would never over talk it. So it's like, hey, you know, sweet little, daughter, like you came into this world in such a beautiful way that some amazing mama like gave me, this beautiful creative force of egg, and this is if your child knows, egg and sperm creates embryo, creates baby. And I took it into my body and I was so in love with it because I knew it was a connection of bringing you here and how exciting that is. And just feel that love. Just feel the love is the best way I would do it. But I'm sure there's other conversations around that and talking it. And I think it's very per person, per experience. I hope that helps give a loving perspective of gentleness about it and connection because really parents that do anything with an egg donation, embryo adoption, any of these kind of maybe outside ungenetic or not ungenetic is not the right word, but like, yeah, maybe it is like you're not genetically like there's no biological connection, but there really is. Like energy does not give a shit about biology. Energy is everything, and that's what we have to remember. And again, I'm curious to see what others our responses are. And again, it's like meeting the needs in that moment and what feels right. But that's how I would move into that conversation, if even if it's even necessary, to be honest. But I know maybe it is necessary because of you want a sense of honesty or you want that genetic kind of lineage if something comes up, right? That's what people think about. And it's okay to explore that. It's the same with, adoption. It's like, you're a part of me, you're connected. But that's, yeah, that would be the best way I would kind of sit and, be curious and expand into it. All these amazing questions coming through, and I will do this from time to time. I will take, and maybe I'll even do that in the new year. Can you believe it? We're not that far from the new year to take that deeper insight, that deeper connection of conversation. Like, what are the big questions of fertility, pregnancy, and healing through loss for 2026? And always feel free to email me at spiritbabymedium@gmail.com. If you're like, I really want to hear a podcast dedicated to something really unique and special, I will work my butt off to see where's that energy, what can we say, and what can we discover together, and see if in that discovery the energy may change. Things change all the time, right? So wherever you are, I send healing love to you if you are on this loss journey, if you are supporting those in loss. Just remember where your heart is. Go out in nature, hug yourself, do something sweet, drink some rose tea, and just continue to bring love in its most highest way inward and keep being the expression of love. And I hold so much love for you in this Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month. Thank you for joining episode 227, Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month. Get answers to curious questions. And if you want more information, insights, ways to get support, notes from a Spirit Baby medium, everything you need to know about Spirit Baby communication is a book on Amazon and Ingram Sparks, and you can find that in the link. As well as of October, if you've had a stillbirth, and you can always email me, I am offering 1-hour sessions at $150, which you will never see that price probably ever. To be honest, it's not a price I go down to, but I really want to offer that connection of stillbirth loss, specifically the sons, the daughters, to get insight, questions, and healing. And as also October, which probably expires on this day of this podcast, is there are fertility, medical, intuitive, and pregnancy communication sessions at a discounted price as well. And otherwise, much love. Thank you for joining Spirit Baby Radio. Thank you for joining Spirit Baby Radio with your host, me, Kelly Meehan. Please join my community and stay in touch with monthly energy rants, Spirit Baby poetry, and get access to Spirit Baby 101 with tips and practices at my newsletter at newearthchildren.com. And join me on Instagram with lives at Spirit Baby Medium, and join the Mighty Networks, the Spirit Baby Collective membership, and Motherhood to Mediumship. Remember, you are the heart that holds communication, and it is your time to connect. Come share in the great shift of your mind and the true spirit of your heart with Spirit Baby Communication.